Today, we're diving into a really fascinating puzzle from ancient Japan. It's a time when some of the deadliest weapons were laid down, not for peace, but for prayer.
Welcome to the Japan Deep Dive Report. I'm so glad you're here. Our journey today takes us all across the Japanese archipelago, way back to a time when a huge cultural shift was happening, a shift that would completely flip the script on what power even meant. So, here's the central mystery we're going to tackle. How in the world did the most advanced, high-tech weapons of the day end up on an altar instead of a battlefield? It's an incredible story about technology, belief, and the birth of sacred treasures. So let's dig in.
Okay, our story kicks off in what's known as the Yayoi period. This was a time when all sorts of new ideas and technologies were flowing into Japan from the Asian continent. And one of these, well, it was a real game changer. Bronze.
Now, I want you to just try and imagine this for a second. You've only ever known tools made from stone. They work, sure, they're functional, familiar. But then, somebody shows you bronze. It's not just stronger, it shines. It glimmers in the sunlight in a way that must have seemed, well, magical, almost divine. This wasn't just a step up in technology, it felt like a leap into another world. And that feeling, that sense of absolute awe, that's the crucial piece of the puzzle right there. The sheer beauty of these bronze objects was so powerful that people started to see them as something more, maybe as tools of the gods. And just like that, their whole purpose shifted from the practical to the spiritual, from the battlefield to the ceremony.
This whole transformation created a brand new category of objects called psyche. It's a Japanese term, and it basically means sacred ritual implements. So these were things that might look like a sword or a spear, but you would never ever use them for fighting. Their one and only job now was for ritual.
And you could literally see this process happen, which is so cool. Take this bronze halberd, for example. It shows up in Japan as a deadly weapon, right? But then, over time, look what happens. The blade actually gets duller, thicker, totally useless for combat. People start carving these beautiful, intricate patterns into it. It physically morphs into a stunning, non-functional object, a perfect sake, meant only for display and reverence. But the story doesn't stop there. A new wave of bronze craftsmanship was on its way, this time from Han China, and it came in the form of these incredibly sophisticated bronze mirrors.
Now, we're not talking about your average pocket mirror here. The way these things could catch and reflect sunlight, it must have looked like pure magic. So for a ruler, owning one of these was a huge statement. It was a symbol of immense political power, almost like saying you had a direct line to the heavens. They were used in ceremonies, and the backs were often covered with these amazing designs, sacred beasts and patterns that represented the entire cosmos.
And if you're wondering just how popular these were, get this. Archaeologists have found over 500 of just one specific type, the triangular-rimmed divine beast mirror. 500. That number alone tells you just how desirable and important these mirrors were to Japan's elite.
And among all those finds, there are some true masterpieces. The Naikoka Monkyo, for instance, is a designated national treasure. It's the biggest bronze mirror ever discovered in Japan. And maybe even more amazing is the Hokaku Ki Shishinkyo. It actually has a date inscribed on it, 235 AD. That makes it the oldest dated mirror in the country. Just a priceless piece of the historical puzzle. So while Japan was clearly absorbing all these amazing things from the continent, it was also creating something completely original, something deeply mysterious that still has us scratching our heads today: the dotaku. Okay, these are dotaku. They're these bell-shaped bronze objects that are 100% Japanese. These weren't imported, they were a homegrown invention. We know they had a little klopper inside called a zetsu that made a sound. But the biggest question of all still remains: what on earth were they for? The most popular theory, and it makes a lot of sense, connects them right to the heart of Yayoi society: farming. The idea is that the deep, solemn sound of the dotaku would ring out during rituals, a kind of prayer sent out to the gods for a good harvest. And what's really incredible is that some of these bells are like history books cast in bronze. There's a famous one, the Kesada Tsukimon Dotaku, and it's covered in these tiny, finely etched scenes of people hunting and farming. It's not just a beautiful object, it's this incredibly rare peek directly into their daily lives. But hey, the mystery is far from solved, and this is where it gets really fun. People have come up with all sorts of other theories over the years.
Was it a kind of sundial? A boiler for heating water? Maybe some kind of tool for refining gold? These wild ideas just go to show how much we really still don't know.
So, we followed this incredible journey, right? We've seen how bronze arrived as a material for war, but its sheer beauty and power transformed it into a way to communicate with the gods. We've seen it in weapons and mirrors from the continent, and in the truly unique Japanese mystery of the Dotaku bells. And that brings me to the last thing I want to leave you with. Just for a second, close your eyes. Imagine you're standing in a field in ancient Japan. What did that clear, solemn sound ringing out from a giant bronze bell actually feel like? What hopes or fears or prayers did it carry on the wind? That's a sound and a feeling that we can only begin to imagine.